The ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine is attracting more heat than just those produced by the bombs and the missiles. When Russia recently hinted that they might blow up the International Space Station, Elon Musk, representing SpaceX, almost immediately responded to that possible attack. Musk has countered a threat from Russia to drop the International Space Station from orbit, saying SpaceX will step in before that happens. The billionaire recently made it clear that SpaceX will rescue the International Space Station if Russia tries to drop it from orbit, after threats by Vladimir Putin's space chief. Dmitry Rogozin warned that Russian tech and expertise is needed to prevent the ISS from crashing down onto the US or Europe, The Sun reported. If you block cooperation with us, who will save the ISS from an uncontrolled deorbit and fall into the United States and Europe? Rogozin tweeted, following President Joe Biden's announcement of sanctions over Russia's invasion of Ukraine. But Musk weighed in by replying to Rogozin's threat with the SpaceX logo. When a Twitter user asked the billionaire if this meant SpaceX would keep the ISS from falling onto Earth, Musk replied, yes. He also replied to a tweet that showed the ISS without the Russian segment, and a SpaceX Dragon attached instead. Good thread, Musk wrote. Russia is a key part of the 15-nation partnership that has kept the ISS orbiting Earth for 23 years. But relations are at an all-time low because of Russia's decision to invade Ukraine. A few days ago, President Joe Biden unveiled new sanctions that he said would degrade Russia's aerospace industry, including their space program. Roscosmos Director General Rogozin then warned that Russian engines control the station's orbit and location. There is also the possibility of a 500-ton structure falling on India and China, added Rogozin. Do you want to threaten them with such a prospect? The ISS does not fly over Russia, therefore all the risks are yours. Are you ready for them? He said. The comments are an escalation from remarks made by the Roscosmos boss just days before when he tweeted that Russia treasures its relationship with NASA and would make every effort to continue as before, regardless of disagreements between our countries. However, NASA has sought to ease tensions, saying sanctions won't affect ISS operations. NASA continues working with all our international partners, including the state space cooperation Roscosmos, for the ongoing safe operations of the International Space Station, a representative for the agency explained. The new export control measures will continue to allow US-Russia civil space cooperation. No changes are planned to the agency's support for ongoing in-orbit and ground station operations. In recent years, NASA has been trying to reduce its reliance on Russian rockets to send its astronauts into space, instead getting Elon Musk's SpaceX to build them. If Elon Musk and SpaceX are to assist in the ongoing dispute, their help will come from the Dragon. Dragon is a privately developed spacecraft built by the California-based tech giant and the first private spacecraft to carry astronauts to orbit. The first of 2 test flights were launched on December 8, 2010, and the second test flight, which carried cargo to the International Space Station, was launched on the 22nd of May 2012. The first crewed flight launched on May 30, 2020, and carried astronauts Doug Hurley and Robert Benken to the ISS. Dragon has all the features fit for war. It has a bell-shaped forward compartment that is pressurized and a cylindrical rear compartment called the trunk that is unpressurized. A pair of solar arrays that power the spacecraft is attached to the trunk. The Dragon can carry 6,000 kilograms of supplies to the ISS, or even weaponry. Even before the current dispute took shape, Musk had warned about it. The controversial billionaire made an ominous warning about artificial intelligence, suggesting it could be the cause of a third world war. His comment was in response to Russian President Vladimir Putin, who said that the first global leader in AI would become the ruler of the world. And this, Musk said in 2017, no wonder millions see him as a futuristic leader. China, Russia, soon all countries with strong computer science. Competition for AI superiority at national level most likely cause of WW3, in my opinion, the Tesla and SpaceX CEO tweeted. At the time, Putin also said that the development of AI raises both colossal opportunities and threats that are difficult to predict. Whoever becomes the leader in this sphere will become the ruler of the world, he said at a meeting with students in 2017. The United States is generally considered to be the nation leading the charge towards AI currently, with tech giants like Google and Microsoft pouring large amounts of cash into research and development projects. Almost a decade ago, Musk revealed that at some point he considered buying Russian ballistic missiles. What for and why? I went to Russia 3 times to try and buy a couple of their biggest ICBMs, the SpaceX and Tesla founder told the audience at SXSW Interactive. He decided against trying to buy weapons of mass destruction. It was an interesting experience. I sort of got the feeling I could have bought the nuke too, but I didn't want to go there. Instead, Musk and SpaceX endeavored to develop their own technology rather than depend on rockets most known from movies like Top Gun. According to Musk, the government considers the technology SpaceX is developing advanced weaponry. SpaceX has been putting wins on the board ever since the company, founded by the serial entrepreneur, became the first privately funded group to put a payload in Earth orbit in 2008. Since then, the company has continued to impress, launching unmanned cargo vehicles to the International Space Station and winning a contract from NASA to fly astronauts as early as 2017. There have been setbacks, most disastrously in June 2020 when a cargo rocket bound for the ISS exploded en route, costing the crew much-needed supplies and shaking confidence in the company as a whole. In December the following year, however, Musk bounced back, launching a payload of satellites to orbit and then recovering the first stage of the Falcon 9 rocket, which landed upright, settling itself down under the power of its own engines, just 6 miles from the Cape Canaveral launch pad. Recoverable, reusable rocket stages that touch down on dry land have been talked about for decades as a way to keep costs down and speed up turnaround times. But no one had been able to do it until now. And maybe, and just maybe, Musk will come up with something to avert the looming World War III, courtesy of Russia and Ukraine. One thing Musk believes is that no one can win a war with inferior technology. A lot of books on strategy and on war actually don't address technology, or they address it in a tangential manner, Musk says. But obviously, if there's an overwhelming technological advantage, that side will win, even if the odds are dramatically stacked against them from a numerical standpoint. Even if the other side has a better generalship and is very smart, he continues. If there is a big technological discontinuity, then the side with the advanced technology will win. Nowhere is this more evident than in the development of the atomic bomb, the SpaceX CEO explains. It is the most striking example of a side winning a war through technology development. Another example, Musk points out, is the development of rifles by the British during the Napoleonic Wars, giving them a great advantage as their firearms could shoot over a longer range than those of the French military. That being said, it's unfortunate that the Russia-Ukrainian conflict is still ongoing. The fighting continues in Kiev and across Ukraine, with the Russian assault appearing to be hampered by the stiffer-than-expected resistance, according to a United States defense official. The United States and European nations announced several measures to support Ukraine as they fight to defend their nation. The United States and its allies agreed to take aim at Russia through SWIFT, a service that facilitates global transactions among thousands of financial institutions. And the US and others, such as Germany, were speeding badly needed weaponry and supplies to the outgunned Ukrainians who were refusing to surrender. Ukraine's embattled president, Volodymyr Zelensky, has appealed to people worldwide to join the resistance against Russia's invasion and enlist in Ukraine's armed forces. Let's hope that the conflict doesn't get to a worse level than it is now. And talking of extremes, Russia and Ukraine aside, have you heard of President Biden's warning to Musk over the Tesla bot? If you haven't, then here is the link to the full video. In our upcoming videos, we'll be bringing you more on Musk's involvement in conflict resolution in Ukraine, so be sure to subscribe so that you don't miss out on any of those.